So today we're going to be looking at our childhood wounds, anything that we're carrying around from our childhood, completely subconsciously probably. And my sister Jessie has joined me to demonstrate the process. So it is something that you can do on your own, but obviously it's much better if it's facilitated by somebody else because the other person can really read the energy of what's going on. So before we start, Jessie, I just want you to close your eyes and just drop down inside your body and take some deep breaths into your belly. And I'd like you to bring to mind your father and how he was around money. Not the words that he said, but more his energy, anything he did with his body when he was engaged with money. You don't have to tell me at the moment, just bring it back into your body and try to get back to the feeling. This is you as a little girl. How did you feel when your dad was dealing with money? Now just spend a few minutes just really remembering it with your body. And now we're going to do the same thing. And this time we're going to remember how things were around your mother. Not the words that she said, but what her body, what her energy was like around money. Again, just breathing that in, really feeling it in your body, feeling it in your energetic field. What did it feel like around your mum? And now bringing your attention to any early childhood, like the first memory that you have around money. And challenging memory, anything that wasn't comfortable. So when you're ready, if you want to just open your eyes and you can just share with me anything that you want to share about what things were like around your dad, around your mum, and then talk to me about that early childhood experience.
Well, one of the brilliant memories that just came up that, oh gosh, I really haven't tapped into since then was Dad's little coin holder, and it was elasticated. It flipped shut. And but there was definitely a lot around the I could see the leather wallet, almost smell it. I could see getting notes out and thinking, wow, that's a lot of money. Um, and then the so that implied a lot of closing, putting it in his back pocket, his wallet in his back pocket, going shopping, and then it was very efficient, and then flip it away. So it was very much about kind of closing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then mum's was more about the detail, and I could feel that kind of consciousness, very conscious of it and conscious of sticking to budgets. And then, you know, when she were to do something extravagant, it would be a really exciting energy. So it was definitely like a whole different energy went on, but you know, wasn't all that often. And there was more doing the weekly shopping. I was just conscious of sticking to things.
Mm-hmm.
And then the uncomfortable childhood memories, there was one that was, I would say that something was my fault. And then there was another thing that I was accused of taking somebody's money and I hadn't, and and I got into trouble. And it was that proving I did not take anybody else's money. Don't you, you know, like, but no one would believe me. So then there's a real thing, which I've known that's had a resonance about, I don't like borrowing money and I don't like being in debt to people,
Mm-hmm.
because I know that comes from there. Yeah, and kind of like, but lots of learning about it.
So, which of the experiences that you talked about? So, I know the story of the being accused of taking somebody else's money. The other one, what was the other one? Go into a bit more detail about that one. You
That
said,
when I did do something,
yeah.
the other one was that I nicked £1 from somebody once, and then they phoned up. I was very young, so it might even have been 50p. I don't know. You know, it would have been when I was very young, preschool.
Mm-hmm.
And I was at their house, and I took the pound, and then I got a phone call in the evening, and then you know, somebody phoned mum and said, "Oh, I think Jessica might have taken the money," and I said, "Yeah, I did," and I gave it back, but I didn't feel awful for a long time, but enough to remember it as like, that's not the right thing to do.
Mm. That's the one I'm going to pick because the other one was kind
Mm-hmm.
of being done to you. It was more, well, I mean, there's energy around both of them, but the one, yeah, the one with the you actually taking the money. You know, about 40% of people, it turns out, have a memory of stealing from other people, me included. That was my
Mm.
memory. So so give yourself a break if that was it. But it's worth getting into it and finding out, you know, because it's, well, if you've had a religious background, for example, it's one of the Ten Commandments, isn't it? Thou shalt not steal. Obviously, you got into trouble. So how does that how does that story make you feel? What does it say about you? I mean, it can be really quite harsh.
What does it say about me? Well, I think it's something like, it's not a new, it didn't just come to me today. I've thought about it before. So I think I used to think that was a really, you know, like really embarrassing. Yes, certainly as a child, I wouldn't have known that. I would have thought I'm the only person who's done that. You know, that's a bad thing.
Mhm.
Even though I've got quite a few brothers and sisters who I know full well did stuff like that, but it was probably felt really bad.
Yeah.
Um, and then, I mean, as an adult, I don't feel like it's left a real mark,
No, it's not.
apart
Yeah,
from this.
it's the child. The memory is the child's memory. So what did that child feel? Because I know we can rationalize it and we can intellectualize it, and we
Oh,
know a pound
please.
isn't that big a deal.
Okay. So,
But what
what
happened
did
for
the
that
child?
child?
What was the story for the child?
Yeah. How might you have described
I'm
yourself?
sorry, the connection. How might I have
Described yourself?
wrong?
Hmm.
Like that was a bad thing to do. That
Hmm.
was wrong. That was mean.
Hmm.
And really almost like uncalled for, because the person whose money it was, you know, was a really nice person. So, and I couldn't imagine them having done that to me.
Okay. So
Um,
um, what we're going to try and do is
so
get,
maybe like a bit sneaky as well.
okay, sneaky. We need to get to a statement that's got a lot of energy about it, and a lot of judgment about it from you to your younger self. The judgments that you would have made of yourself at the time. So you said mean and sneaky. I'm a mean and sneaky. What were the other words you used? I'm mean, I'm sneaky.
cruel, that's uncalled for, that's not nice, that's bad,
Mm-hmm.
that's not what we do. Like
Okay.
that's unusual. Maybe I would have definitely would have felt that I was unusual, or that other people wouldn't do that.
Okay, so let's try and
So
find some words. We
kind of
want to
being,
find things like,
so I'm being singled out.
okay,
So I'm mean. I mean that's really I'm being selfish. I'm being deceitful and sneaky. I'm I think more than anything, I'm mean. That's a nasty thing to do. I'm nasty.
okay. So we're going to go with, if this feels right, we're going to go with I'm mean and nasty. Can you say those words back to me?
I'm mean and nasty.
Okay. How did that feel to say that?
I don't believe the nasty one. I'm mean
Okay.
is resonates more. Um,
Deceitful, you said as well.
and I'm probably more like I'm sneaky.
Okay. So I'm mean and sneaky.
Sneaky.
Can you say it back to me? I'm mean and sneaky.
I'm mean and sneaky.
Does that resonate?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And now I want you to say, I'm mean and sneaky, and that's okay.
I'm mean and sneaky, and that's okay.
Is that okay?
No.
No. Okay. It might not be, but let's try again. I'm mean and sneaky, and that's okay.
I'm I'm wanting to add the word I'm mean and sneaky sometimes, and that's okay.
Okay.
And I am mean and sneaky sometimes, and that's okay.
I'm mean and sneaky sometimes, and that's okay. How about
Yeah.
I'm mean and sneaky sometimes, and that's great?
Ooh, that's nice. I'm mean and sneaky sometimes, and that's great.
And how does your body feel as you say that?
It's quite googly in my tummy. That's nice. Although I've still got another caveat going on, which is, but not if it's hurtful to other people.
Okay, we're going to leave your caveats to one side because we really need to get to the core. Don't worry, we're
Okay.
going to this is what's called a reclamation statement. So we're not going to walk out the door with this statement, although you are embodying this. So we can leave the caveats. I'm mean and sneaky sometimes, and that's great.
I'm mean and sneaky sometimes, and that's great.
Again, I'm mean and sneaky sometimes, and that's great.
I'm mean and sneaky sometimes, and that's great.
Okay. So if you've come to your reclamation statement, you might want to
Mm-hmm.
write it down. I'm not sure. Didn't instruct you to get a pen and paper, did I? So I'll write it down for you, and I'll send it to you afterwards.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm mean and sneaky.
Sneaky sometimes, and that's great. That's what I want you to write down.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So that's one of the statements that you're going to have and hold going forwards. Now, what we do is that we then take that statement, which isn't the nicest thing, and we turn it around. So what's the opposite of being mean and sneaky sometimes?
Generous and open.
Generous and open.
Generous and honest.
Generous and honest. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm generous.
Yeah.
I'm generous and honest.
I'm generous.
Okay. Do you need to say, are there
I'm
any?
generous and honest.
I'm generous and
I'll
honest.
add the sometimes as well.
Okay. Do you know what I was going to put in all the time?
Ah,
But if that doesn't feel right, it's your. These are your statements, so they have to feel. They have to
yeah.
feel right in your body.
Yeah, no, that feels better if I put the sometimes in both.
Okay.
So I'm generous and honest sometimes, and that's great.
Okay. I'm generous and honest sometimes, and that's great. And that, my darling girl, if they do they feel right? Does that feel? Just say it to me one more time. Let me see you. I'm generous and honest
I'm,
sometimes,
I'm generous and honest sometimes, and that's great.
and
Yeah, no,
that
that
feels
that feels totally right.
brilliant. Okay, so that's the process. It's as simple as that, or it's as complicated as that. And once you've got your reclamation statements, I'm going to be sending Jessie over hers. Then you keep going back to them and you keep feeling that energy because it's okay. And this is something that we can do about lots of things. Anytime we do something crap, rubbish, something that we're not that proud of, we can just quickly go through that process. The more you do it, the quicker it becomes. But we're all human. We're all tripping up and getting back up, falling down, tripping over, getting back up. We're just living our lives. There is not a perfect human being on this planet. All we can do is be kind to each other when we can, be kind to ourselves as often as we can, and forgive ourselves as well, because, you know, we're all just doing our best. And the fact that you're listening to this video means that you're on a path of awareness and consciousness, and you are looking at your own behaviors. You are self-aware, and that will serve you brilliantly. So thank you so much, Jessie. I'm going to send you over your
Very
statement.
welcome.
Really
You're
interesting
very
that we're brother and sister. We're not. We have so many brothers that we're sisters. And my experience, although yeah, I'll just tell you just for fun.
I do.
I did a lot of stealing, so I was. But the added addendum to my stealing was that I really knew it was wrong, and I didn't tell anybody because I was feeling kind of bullied into doing it. So I was a lying coward. A singing lying coward, it turned out, because when it started to come out of me energetically, I wanted to sing about it. And that took me back to another childhood memory where I was supposed to sing the solo in somebody's place and I couldn't do it and I quaked. And so I am a singing lying coward. And then I turned it round and I am brave. Even when I bravely speak my messages, even when it's not received by others. So there we go. So there are all sorts of different ways to get to it. And if you feel like you'd like to have a one-to-one and unpack it properly, then all the links will be available for you to do that. Okay, thank you again, Jessie.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Oh.